Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to put on our hard hats and act as architects. We are breaking down the exact blueprint for building your very first fully realized AI chatbot. If you've been watching the rapidly evolving world of artificial intelligence and wondering, how do I actually construct one of these interactive agents myself? Well, you are in exactly the right place. We aren't just skimming the surface today. We're taking a deep, structural approach to understand the absolute core components that make these systems tick.
So let's dive right into this. Have you ever wondered what actually separates a truly engaging, interactive AI from a totally frustrating, forgetful bot? Because let's be real, we've all experienced both ends of that spectrum. You've definitely dealt with a customer service bot that made you want to pull your hair out because it just kept asking for the exact same information over and over. But then maybe you've also chatted with an AI that felt surprisingly intuitive, helpful, and honestly almost human-like. What's the actual, under-the-hood, structural difference driving those two wildly different experiences?
Well, the solution lies in a specific structural roadmap. We'll start with building your first chatbot, then look at the role of memory, move into crafting a unique personality, touch on designing the conversation, and finally, bringing it all together.
Kicking things off with part one, building your first chatbot.
At its very core, before you do any custom development at all, a standard language model is essentially just a blank slate. It's an empty vessel waiting for instructions. Think of it kind of like a highly capable Oscar-winning actor who just walked onto a stage, but hasn't been handed a script, a character bio, or even any stage directions yet. In technical terms, it has no persistent state. Sure, it's got immense processing power and a vocabulary the size of a dictionary, but it completely lacks a specific purpose or any sense of continuity. So to turn that raw, incredible potential into a functional chatbot, we have to actually construct the framework that governs its behavior. We have to guide exactly how it processes information and responds to you. Which brings us to part two, the role of memory.
This is where things get really interesting. A bot without memory just creates a wildly frustrating loop. Well, a bot with memory builds a continuous, intelligent interaction. Think about it. If a chatbot can't remember what you said literally 2 messages ago, every single prompt is treated as an isolated day one interaction. It's exactly like trying to have a conversation with someone who experiences total amnesia every 5 seconds. By integrating memory, which we usually do by effectively managing its context window, we give the chatbot the crucial ability to retain conversational context. It can actually refer back to previous answers, understand the ongoing thread of your dialogue, and build upon what you're saying. This isn't just a nice to have, it's the absolute prerequisite for any interaction that feels genuinely helpful instead of just purely transactional.
Let's move on to our third core pillar, crafting a unique personality. You can think of personality as the charisma stat of our chatbot character. It dictates exactly how the bot feels to the user. Once your bot can remember what's being discussed, it actually needs to know how to discuss it. Are you building a strictly professional, no-nonsense financial advisor, a witty, high-energy creative writing assistant, or maybe a super patient, empathetic math tutor? Defining these unique character traits and nailing down the specific tone of voice, which we typically apply through detailed system prompts, ensures the AI's interaction style is rock solid and consistent. Having a clearly defined personality is what prevents your chatbot from sounding like a boring, generic text generator. It turns it into a recognizable entity that you can actually connect with. As our source material outlines, personality really sits right at the center of this triad. It acts as the vital bridge between raw memory and the final output. You can start to see how these concepts aren't just isolated silos. They completely rely on each other. Memory provides the hard, factual context of what's happening, but the personality filters those facts so they're delivered in a specific, intentional way. It is literally the difference between an AI bluntly barking, "You entered the wrong password," versus gently suggesting, "Oops, it looks like that password didn't quite match, let's try again." See the difference?
Now for part four, designing the conversation.
So, having a brain and a soul is great, but the bot also needs social skills. That is conversation design. Here's the step-by-step flow of how a user experiences this. The bot remembers the context, filters it through its brand new personality, and then follows a designed conversation path to respond. Conversation design is really all about anticipating the user's needs and mapping out how the dialogue should naturally progress. Like, what happens when a user asks a question the bot genuinely doesn't know the answer to? How does the bot gracefully steer a derailed conversation back on topic? By structuring these flows, we make sure the bot doesn't just sit there passively answering questions. Instead, it actively guides the user toward a satisfying resolution, leaning on both its memory and its personality every single step of the way. Conversation design acts as the underlying script. It ensures the mechanics of the interaction feel entirely natural and totally intuitive. It transforms what could be a clunky, random exchange of text into a smooth, purposeful journey. Think of it as the literal architecture of interaction. You are laying down the hallways and the doors of the conversation. You want to make absolutely sure the user never hits a frustrating dead end. Good conversation design means anticipating misunderstandings, providing super clear options, and ensuring the pacing of the chat just feels comfortable and logical. It's that final layer of polish that makes the technology completely disappear, leaving behind nothing but a seamless user experience. Which brings us to our final section, bringing it all together. By layering memory, personality, and conversation design together, you successfully move way beyond basic prompts and construct a fully interactive AI agent. It's like building blocks. You start with that empty vessel of a language model. Then you add memory, the brain, so it holds context and understands the history of your chat. Next, you layer on personality, the soul, giving it a distinct, consistent, and engaging voice. And finally, you apply conversation design, the social skills, to structure the flow, handle inevitable errors gracefully, and guide the user to success. When you get these three pillars solidly in place, your chatbot stops being a fun little novelty and becomes a genuinely powerful, usable tool. So now that you hold the foundational blueprint for creating a captivating AI, the only real question left is, what kind of bot are you going to build? The tools are out there right now, the framework is incredibly clear, and that blank slate is just waiting for your specific instructions. Whether you want to streamline your business, help yourself learn a brand new skill, or honestly just create something fun to show your friends, you now know the exact architecture required to make it exceptional. So I'll leave you with this. When you look at the endless possibilities of AI, what problem are you going to solve first? Take this blueprint, start experimenting, and let's see what you can create.